So I don't know where you're gonna get this kind of like artistic craftsmanship besides here at Fitness You Can Live With. I made a holiday Halloween circuit. I named it Goblin, super themed, and just coordinated a letter with every exercise. So I'm gonna run through one round of it and you can kind of follow along and I'll explain each exercise, and then feel free to, of course, do it on your own because that's what it's all about. So we're gonna start off with G, goblet squats, and you can grab anything that you want, of course, to squat with. I've grabbed a dumbbell, you can grab kettlebells, a small human, whatever you want to do to create a little bit of resistance. So for a goblet squat, it's placed in the front of your body, and you just take the stance that you would take for a normal squat, and just drop down low and come up, keeping the weight right in your heels, just as you would do for a normal squat. So I'm just gonna run through like a couple reps of each of these so you can kind of like get the idea of what it's all about. So I like a front-loaded squat a lot because obviously it hits your legs, but it actually hits a tremendous amount of your abdominals as well. So great core work. So we'll just do one more and then we'll move on. All right, so the second one is overhead presses. I grabbed some dumbbells. You can grab a barbell, kettlebells. Once again, a small human works. Whatever you want to do. And overhead pressing, so just right down and pressing up. You can hold them like this, as I'm doing, or you can bring it in. A couple options. You can do like a twisting press. Bring it like under your chin and come up like that. So, you know, a lot of these, you have freedom to do whatever you want, because ideally you would be doing this like 3 or 4 rounds. So you could do a little something different each round. Bench dips, so a pushing exercise to hit your triceps. So I have an actual bench here, and there's many different levels of it. Like as a starter, you would do like your knees bent like this, put your hands on the back of the bench and dip down, like keeping your chest up. And I always say shooting your elbows like sort of back. A lot of times I see a lot of this, like people's bodies are coming way out, and it just puts a tremendous amount of strain on your shoulders, so try to keep it tight. You can bring your feet out like that. You can bring your feet elevated on something. You can do one-legged. So many different versions of them. So start off where you can and do what you can. Another thing is, if you don't have a bench at home, I actually grabbed this from upstairs in our living room. I mean, chances are there's a lot of things around your house that you can use for a lot of these exercises without even realizing it. Like everybody doesn't have to have a gym membership or a bunch of equipment to kind of like make it work for you, just to create some resistance. So we're right on to L, which is lunge forward, lunge backwards. So forward lunge right into a backward lunge. So I wanted to hit something that kind of like covered the entire leg. So I would go forward and then I would go right into backward. So balance is key here. And obviously all the muscles in your legs and glutes are working. So if you go forward and you're not super confident with coming like all the way back, you can just pause in the middle and then go right into a backward lunge. You can pause here and go right into that. So that's what it looks like on that side. I'll just do a couple on this leg so you can see what that's about. You can also grab resistance, grab a dumbbell, a kettlebell, wear a backpack. Just create some sort of an overload for your muscles. For a lot of people, just this body weight alone is completely fine. So the way that I count them, when I'm doing them, say I'm doing 10 reps, what I'll do is I'll go 1, that's 1 rep, 2, and 2, and see what you can get. All right, so on to I, which is an inverted row. So there's a million different ways to do rows, and I've got, I wanted something where you get your body actually inverted. So I have these here, and I'll just show you a couple different versions. The most simplest would be right here, where I can use my legs a little bit. So I just get myself like a tabletop and just pull. So if I want to make it a little more difficult, I'll just straighten out my legs. I can make it more difficult than that by putting my feet like up on something. So that creates a little bit more of a challenge. And I've got the bar over here. This is like another way to do it if you don't have one of those. So you can just come on the ground and do them like this. You can put your feet on something and do them like this. So there's a lot of different options, of course. So that's inverted rows. Finishing off with negative curls. So you can just do regular bicep curls if you want. I was just searching for something with an N. So negatives are a really good way to build muscle as well, especially if you have if you're working with light weight. What you do is you do like a regular curl, and the negative is going down really, 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 really slow. So the whole point really is just placing your muscles under tension. So say I'm holding 5s, 10s, whatever. I can make them heavier by just going really, really slow. So 10 reps of this I always say 10 reps feels like 20 because it seriously does. If you're doing it properly and really placing a lot of time under tension for that muscle. So that is all of them. And I would suggest starting off with something like 10 reps for 2 to 3 rounds. If you're feeling really good, maybe 10 reps for 4 rounds. Switch it up. Make it hard for yourself. Set a timer for 30 minutes. See how many times you can go through it. I think you're gonna like it, so give it a go.